Hello, welcome to Let's Talk Sports with Rick and Jack. How you doing? How you doing, my brother?
Maintaining.
You're way above that, right? Getting ready for a road trip.
Yeah.
Heading east.
Yeah, you told me hit the road, Jack.
Hit
so
the
guess
road,
what?
Jack. Hit the road, Jack. Get it? All of you that watch us know that he's Jack, and you don't know Jack about sports. Sports. Let's talk about sports. By the way, have a safe, happy trip. I guess we'll catch up with you on Zoom, and we'll continue to work our shows.
Yes, sir.
He'll still be around. I may mix it up a little bit, but I may have a co-host in here. Maybe a female co-host.
A better looking one. Oh, look
I
at
didn't
you
say
go.
better looking. I didn't say better looking. I said maybe a female co-host. You know, they're very good at sports. They control the network now.
Yes.
They got all the shows. So, you know, maybe the show will be more successful.
Oh, maybe you'll get
if
more
I
views.
get a female co-host.
Yeah.
You know, instead of a couple, you know, crazy guys. Anyways, I would be remiss if I didn't thank you all for watching our show and liking it. And we got a lot of likes this week and a lot of great comments and a lot of followers. Keep sharing what we do here. We really appreciate it. Please share it. Hopefully it's relevant to your lives and gives you some time away from daily tasks and the daily things we have to do. Sports takes us away from those things. But talking about sports taking us away, are the Golden Knights about to be taken out of the playoffs?
From what it looks like right now, I'm disappointed in the way they're playing, but you can't take anything away from the Canadians. The Canadians are playing with heart. They're playing with house money, where their expectations were they were supposed to be. They limped into the playoffs, but
Sure
guess
did.
what? They're using house money and trying to basically take the house down. So kudos to them. They're on a hot streak right now, and basically the Knights, they got to wake up. They
looked terrible last night. I mean, a 4-1 game, and they don't look good out there. Number one, I mean, and they're letting the stars like McKinney and Corey Perry, who are so good, control those games.
Their defense
and some of those young guys.
Their defense is lackluster right now. How do you build on being so fast on the ice? And then I hardly see any defensemen back there when they have like fast breaks and stuff. I see defensemen skating in 2 seconds after the goal had been scored. That's what is the defense doing?
Yeah, and the other funny thing is I heard him say that the Knights just got to start hitting the net. They're missing the net with every shot. They're not even on the net. They're making this goalie look like all-star of all times. I mean, he's Price. He's not a bad goalie, but
no, not at all. But you can't take anything away from them the way they're playing. So it's like kudos to them.
They're active. They have the most active sticks in the game. They are on every puck. They're deflecting pucks. They're physical. They play defense. They're really a good team.
Yeah.
And, I'm one of those guys last week, and I mean, I shows you what I really know. I felt after game one that the Golden Knights were going to sweep them. Why? Since last week, I mean, we've seen what's happened. Now it's a 3-2 series going back to Montreal. It's dangerous, and Montreal's confident. And again, you're right. What a Cinderella team. I mean, they were this close. They were this close to being out, 3-1. They're down in the very first series. They win 3 in a row, and then they sweep the Jets. And now they're up 3-2 against the Golden Knights, and they're one game away from the championship, probably against the Lightning. You think the Lightning are going to end up taking? What did they win last night? 8-0. The Lightning really got into it, man. I'm telling you, what happened to the Islanders? They were right in that series.
I guess
and the Lightning lit them up.
I guess they're stuck on the island.
Oh, I guess. I mean,
because they didn't show up. Which is surprising. Like the first couple of games, you're like, okay, it could. They shown that we can keep up, and then that last game, like nobody showed up.
I can't believe it in the playoffs. I mean, we've both been athletes. If I'm in a playoff game, I'm showing up every time. Every single time I'm showing up, and I know a lot of you are showing up that have been athletes. And man, to get the chance to play in the big ones. You're that close to the Stanley Cup. You're that close to the Stanley Cup, and you lose 8-0 or 8-1 or whatever it was.
Not many teams get this opportunity to do this, and here you are. It's teams are playing slop. The other, the Islanders and the Knights are playing sloppy hockey, where you're squandering the opportunity.
How does
right
that
here.
happen at this time of year? I mean, how do you explain the Knights? In game 4, they come back in overtime and win it. They end up coming back at the end of the game, tying it, and then winning it in overtime. So they make the series, 2-2. But then they come out at home and they play the kind of game they played last night. Do you give the credit to Montreal, or do you say that the Golden Knights aren't playing well? Or let me ask you this. There's a couple of questions here. I asked the first one, why aren't they playing well after coming back to make it an even series? And is this shuffling of goalies affecting the team? I mean, Leonard's in. He plays a great game after Fleury messed up and accidentally the puck hits his skate, and that was a mess. Was he getting punished? Was Fleury getting punished?
No. So here's my take on it is, I don't think the coach got flack for when he pulled out when he gave Fleury the rest last series, and Leonard got basically annihilated. But at the end of the day, Fleury needed the rest. It's a matter of when to give him rest. I thought game 2 would have been the game for him to get rest. So then game 3, when he allowed that 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes left in the game, and he let that puck, basically the mistake.
Unbelievable error. Yeah, you just don't do that.
Well, it happens.
That's a strange one, though.
But I think because of that, it deflates that's the key moment where I just think the dynamic of the team changed since. Do you realize that they haven't been scoring prolifically like they were? They're not putting up 4 or 5 goals.
No, they're not scoring a lot. So then you put in you change, you make the change, and the guy has a great game. But then you don't say, okay, you had a great game, I'm going to give you another good game. They put Fleury back in the net last night.
Because Fleury is the one that's gotten them here this far, and it's in a sense where you gave him a night off. The backup got the win, so then you put him back in the net to continue the momentum and do his thing. Fleury's too good for you to say that one mistake, we're done with him
I
for
agree
the
with
series.
you, and I guess good. The
But
hockey,
he still needs
the
rest.
hockey stick ain't that heavy, so who needs rest? They're young men. I mean, what do you need rest? The hockey stick ain't that heavy.
Fleury's but the
36. So
Yeah,
what? He's still playing. He's still great. I mean, to me, I stay with consistency. Yeah, he messed up. I felt like it was like a slam on him. Like, okay, you messed up. I'm going to take you out. And then what's his name? Leonard comes in and has a great game, and then you take him out and put Fleury back. I don't get the inconsistency
because
of DeBoer. He's a little inconsistent to me. I'm not a fan, by the way.
I know a lot of folks here, and a lot of fans are not a fan of him himself, and just the way he. First of all, he came from the Sharks.
Yeah. I didn't like that.
They didn't like the Sharks.
Rivals.
But guess what? Why not get a rival that knows how you play and knows how your strength and weakness, and then
they had a good year, and from the time he came in, they've done pretty well. I'm just seeing them falter right now, and it's a lot of inconsistency. I believe in the players. I can't give all that credit to Montreal. I really can't. I mean, they're playing well. They lean on you. Their sticks are so quick and active. They break up every play you got going, but they're really good on defense, and they have some stars that are leading them. They got some stars that have taken over and said, let's go, boys. And I like that. I really like the stars that take over. But, I don't see any stars for the Knights taking over in the last couple games. You got to go, man. It's time to go. You got to get it done.
The thing is, you have Marchessault, you have Stone, you have Patrietti. Like that's who I'm like surprised. Where is he at? Is his injury still lingering? Yeah. But the next game is put up or shut up or go home. You know what I mean? So
and I just think that somehow, some way, the Knights are going to find a way to win in Montreal, and then they're going to come home and win again. Well, there's something telling me that they just play when they have to play, and maybe it's like the Dodgers. Feathering into the next thing out of hockey into baseball. What's going on with the Dodgers? We're almost halfway through the season. Are the Dodgers not going to repeat? Are they sitting on their laurels? Are they lazy? Are injuries? They've had a lot of injuries. What's going on with the Dodgers? They're playing too much youth.
No.
There's another team that's not playing well in the West. The Dodgers. What's going on there?
So the the problem with the Dodgers is, as fans and baseball folks or sports fans in general, we keep on like, what have you done for me lately? So when you're cold or you have a bad game or a bad series, we're like, oh, must be something wrong. Let's fix it. Sometimes it's not a matter of fixing it. Sometimes it's when you play, who you play. It's when you play them and who. That's what matters. Right now, the Dodgers are perfectly fine. Let them play.
Okay, they're 5 out.
Yes.
They're going to get on a winning streak and take the lead and win by 10, you think?
Exactly.
Okay.
You know,
so stop worrying about what the Dodgers are going to do.
Just let them.
I've been concerned with injuries.
Just let them play. The fact is, as good as say San Diego is, they're still ahead of San Diego. You know,
San Diego's been up and down. They keep going on winning and losing streaks. They came off of a losing streak. Now they beat the Dodgers 2 in a row.
Okay, and the Dodgers.
The Dodgers got. By the way, the Padres got the Dodgers number. They're doing pretty well against them this year.
Again, the Dodgers will be fine.
Okay.
You know,
you heard it here. The Dodgers, all you Dodger fans, the Dodgers will be fine.
They will be.
Okay. So who do we have to worry about in the National League? I mean, is it the Mets? If the Dodgers are going to be fine and they're going to make the playoffs, who are they going to end up playing? Are the Braves going to get going? The Cardinals had like the best record in baseball, have fallen apart. I don't know what's happened to the Cardinals. The Cubs continue to hang in there. Washington hasn't played well.
My surprise is actually Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's a good ball club.
But they don't have the flashy names, the flashy pitchers and the star and the hitters. So you know that's who surprised me. It's almost like they're playing like the basketball team in a sense where the role players show up every day and do their thing and they're consistent.
And they get it up every game and they're very well managed. They got a great manager over there, and you know they just continue to play good baseball. The Cubs, you know, I was kind of surprised that the Cubs are playing as well as they are. You know, it's funny. I don't know. You remember the ex-Cub Kyle Schwarber? That guy's playing unbelievable baseball right now with Washington Nationals. He's having a big year, man. He's having a big year over there. A leadoff hitter. I think he had 5 home runs out of the leadoff spot so far this year. I mean, the guy is playing great, but the Cubs are doing it. Giants continue to stay in the lead. I can continue to say, what are they winning with? I can't figure it out.
Hey, but they're winning.
They continue to win.
And that's all that matters.
Teams in baseball, because you play every day, almost every day, 162 games, a lot of teams don't stay mentally in the groove. It's the team that shows up every night, finds a way to show up every night to play good ball. And I'll give you a perfect example. It's Boston. You know, they're well coached by Joey Cora, and they consistently.
Probably one of my the favorite coaches in the
managers. Yeah,
managers in baseball.
Joey Cora is great, and he's a player's manager. The guys love playing for him. You know, it's the same thing with Aaron Boone. Somehow, some way, he gets those Yankees to get going. They haven't had a consistent year. Boston's been great. Tampa Bay has continued to be great. Your Oakland team, who you mentioned last week, continues to play well. And Houston is really surprising me. They lost a lot of talent, but they, you know, to lose George Springer is huge. To lose George Springer, to lose Cole is huge.
Okay,
but Houston continues to win, and they're not cheating.
They lost the talent, but did they lose the tapes?
Oh, they're done.
They still have the tapes.
They can't afford. You know, those guys everywhere they go, they get booed. I mean, all those starters for them.
They deserve as a team and organization. Well, they deserve it, and as long as I can mention it, I will always mention it until it prove otherwise.
For me, I put it to the side. I move on. I'm just an observer of games. I'm a fan. I don't get into all the personal stuff. I get into the fact that they're a good baseball team and they're well managed. Dusty Baker's a great manager. What's Dusty, about 100 now?
Only 99. He
99?
He ages well.
Man, and he's the most mellow guy. He sits in that dugout.
Oh,
Dusty Baker's a great. You know, he was great in San Francisco. He was of course, he was a great ball player for the Dodgers. But Dusty Baker's, he's in all seriousness, he's about 76 something. Yeah, like that. He's a mellow dude, but what a great manager. He's doing it in Houston.
But I like my managers like how Ozzie Guillen was. Get up there, get in your face. Yes, absolutely.
He come flying out of that dugout.
Speaking of managers, did you see what Joe Girardi did last night?
I didn't.
So while we were playing, he went to the umps and basically said, "Hey, we need to check the pitcher for any foreign substance." He said he's doing this too much, or whatever the case is on his forehead. So of course they went out there in the middle of the fourth and slowing down the game. That's what baseball told us that we're not going to do.
Yeah, the 3.5 4-hour games.
Yeah,
I can't take it, man. I can't take it. It's too much.
And at the end of the day, what is that gonna prove? Because you have a suspicion, and why not wait? And the umps don't have to. The one part of the thing is it's all on the ump's discretion.
Of course, he's the main man. It's his decision.
So, and then of course, at the end of the day, they're all.
What did they do?
They checked him, checked the hat, checked the belt.
How long did that take?
Too long.
I didn't see it. No, I was busy
so
watching
it all comes.
basketball and hockey last
It
night.
all goes back. It all goes back to the commissioner, because he's the one that's ultimately put the policy or approve the policy that they have in place. Usually stuff like this again needs to be addressed in the off season. Do like the NFL, even though they don't necessarily do it right on the spot. At their owners' meetings, they come up with different rules, and that's when they overreact. Yeah. Not in the middle of the season, because then now you have pitchers that are going to get injured, and that's one of the things that they're talking about. So we'll see if injuries with pitchers go up. One of the pitch my favorite pitcher right now is Jacob deGrom. He's about to have a prolific year if he can stay healthy, because right now he's hitting too. That's crazy for a pitcher to be hitting like the way he's doing. He got a couple of RBIs, a couple of strikeouts.
He's the real deal, man.
Yeah,
I was looking at the stat, and it was like of pitchers that have thrown over 100 miles an hour during a game for the whole season, and he was like 186 pitches over 100 miles an hour. And the next closest guy was like 30. And I was like, I couldn't believe that he throws that hard consistently. I mean, it was a huge number. Don't quote me on the exact numbers. But if you look at it, it's a huge disparity of how many 100-mile-an-hour pitchers or more he's thrown and how many other pitchers have done it. It's like their number is really low. The guys behind him this guy's throwing over 100 miles an hour consistently.
But
he gets the tendonitis and he gets the little hurts, and do that for 9 innings, and he's thrown more 9-inning games than anybody else. So I mean, the guy's a workhorse, and he's an inspiration to the Mets. The Mets are
and as a Mets fan, this is what you have such a prolific pitcher. Please don't squander his time with the Mets and not at least put something around him so that we can get a championship.
They're doing that. They brought in Lindor. That was a big purchase. Pete Alonso isn't even playing that well. So I mean, when he warms up a little bit more and he starts hitting some dingers and bangers, homers, the Mets are going to do even better. But I mean, Lindor's a great leader. I saw when they were losing and he was taking a beating. They were booing him, and he hung in there, and he's a fine player. I think he's better than the kid in San Diego, Tatis. Lindor is great, man. He's my favorite shortstop in baseball. There aren't many better. The kid in Chicago is pretty good, but I really like Lindor. Don't you think? You're a Mets fan. Hasn't he made a big difference leadership-wise
absolutely.
over there with the Mets?
He changed the culture too, where it's not the old Mets where when the Mets are playing right now, I feel like we have a chance to win, even if we're down, even if we're behind. For some reason, he adds that spark to the team, that drive where hey, it makes it a better culture in the locker room. Yeah. And with the better culture, the winnings will come right after that. Yeah, because the talent's there.
Oh, the talent.
The talent's there, big time.
I like that team. Who do you think is the in the American League East, the American League, in the American League? Not necessarily the East. Who do you think is the best team? Is it the Astros? Is it Tampa Bay? Is it Boston? Who do you think is the best team? We're almost halfway through the season.
So, despite Houston having more wins, I would still, for some reason, I'm still with the old nostalgia of the organization, despite me not necessarily liking that New England area. But I think Boston is the best team.
I like that team a lot.
They're more consistent. Exactly. They took the words right out of my mouth. I think they're more consistent, and their consistency is what's allows them to work on the little things that need to be tweaked. Yep. But if you're up and down, you're adjusting too much. Well, right now they only need to, hey, maybe looking to trade for a position or I would say on-base guy, but it's either strikeout or home run this day and age in baseball.
Oh, it's crazy.
But just somebody to get on base.
Do you think that Xander Bogaerts is the best player in the American League right now? Do you think he's having the best year? I mean, he's my MVP right now.
Yes.
Bogaerts is a great ball player, man, and he's leading that Boston team.
I guess I can't deny it.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing great ball. I mean, he's leading Boston, and he looks like my MVP right now. He's playing good baseball. Let's jump over to and briefly before we go to the National League and who you think is the best. The White Sox seem to be faltering because of injuries. They've played very well. That White Sox team has been really good this year. And again, all you White Sox fans, I hope they hang in there. But they've been losing a lot lately, and they got their second baseman out, and they got one of their outfielders out. So they have two starters out. And they seem to be faltering. Are they going to have their usual El Foldo, or are they going to hang in there with teams like Boston and Tampa Bay? Is Chicago going to be there in the end?
So what's good right now for them is, despite being, I would say, like injury riddled right now, they're still 3 games above Cleveland.
So I was going to ask you how big is their lead?
So then,
I know it was 3-4 games. It's 3 right now.
Yeah, it's 3.5 because
Cleveland's going to pass.
Cleveland has. You never know. It's just
Cleveland's a good team.
Cleveland's a good team. They're in the number 2 spot right now. But if they just need to continue, just play at least 500 baseball for the next, maybe week or two, just to make sure that.
Yeah, they got their second baseman's out for the year. That really hurts.
But then that's why you got to train.
Adam Eaton, I think, is out in the outfield. One of their guys, I just read, was out, but I watch so many sports. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the National League. Who do you think's the best team? Is it the Dodgers still? Your money's on the Dodgers.
Milwaukee, because I think that they're flying on the radar. No one's talking about them. I think it's tougher for the Dodgers, San Francisco, and San Diego. The reason for that is it's 3 good ball clubs.
A lot of tough games.
And so that means your games are tougher.
A lot of tough games.
When you win or when you lose, you're losing position. All you're doing is doing this the entire time. Yeah. So whereas then you have a Milwaukee that'll come out of nowhere consistently winning their games, and they don't really have anybody.
Consistent. Like Boston.
They don't have anyone to. I guess they don't have anyone to be beaten or to challenge them in a sense.
Yeah, in the National League, you pray for the nights you play Colorado and Arizona. That was a bad baseball team. And Washington hasn't been much better, but, man, those guys are really bad teams. And anyways, we'll see what happens. We're moving along quickly here. We don't have a lot of time left. I didn't want to get through the show without mentioning the big U.S. Open down in Torrey Pines in San Diego. That was a great tournament. As you predicted, John Rahm was the man. He ended up winning it. And that was a funny tournament because there was a lot of average players on the lead. Henley, Hughes, Wolf, those guys were really up there on the lead. And, man, there was a lot of people that faltered on Sunday. And John Rahm hit those 2 big putts at the end on 17 and 18, got birdies and won that thing. He stepped up, but more than anything, and more than him winning, there were a lot of guys that just handed it to him. Look at DeChambeau. What was he, like 500? He ended up +7 or something?
Yeah.
The last 6-7 holes, that young man fell apart. He fell apart.
I want to say like he ended up tying for like 26. at the
Rory
end.
McIlroy, he was there to win it. A big pro like that, he faltered. Justin Thomas faltered. Koepka was there, he faltered. A lot of the great players faltered.
When we were talking yesterday about it, I guess Bobby mentioned that I guess it was the 7th hole. Everyone just basically.
I got to tell you, I was shocked to watch that tournament. It was a matter of elimination. Nobody was playing well on those, last 9 holes. It just, so many guys fell apart. That kid that was on the lead, Henley, he ended up +1 or something like that. He led for 3 days. Hughes was right behind him. Wolf.
Do you think it's more along the lines of the situation was bigger than him because he came out? Do you realize I want to say
the spotlight was too big for all
they
of
say
those
he
guys.
didn't even have a sponsor.
No,
that's how crazy it was.
The spotlight was too big in the end, and I think that John Rahm stepped up and played well, and he was a gracious winner. And to see a guy, what happened to him the couple weeks before that, how he was abruptly stopped because of COVID issues and six-stroke lead and to have not an opportunity to win, to come back and stay that cool and to win, I think was really awesome. Kudos to him. It was a fun tournament, but I have to tell you,
his purse was 2.25 mil.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad
that's not
consolation that he missed out of the 1.7 last time.
Yeah, a nice win for him and a very gracious man. I always been a fan. He's the first Spanish player ever to win the U.S. Open. And that's
he said he did, in his interview. He said he did it for Spain.
Yeah, and it was great to see him win it. It was a funny tournament because Torrey Pines, the South Course, there's so many bunkers. I've never seen so many sand traps in my life on a golf course. The two things, I never seen a golf course so long, so many long holes, and so many bunkers from midway up each hole. So many bunkers. Have you ever seen so many freaking sand traps? I got tired of watching the ball go in sand traps, and I watched the whole tournament.
So, do you think that's part of the design, just to get in the heads of the golfers with all those the sand traps, or is it just a poorly designed course in a sense?
It's funny. It's funny. That's a good question, Jack. You realize that's a public course. So many of those courses they play on in championships, they're not public courses, they're private courses. So the public plays that course. You can pay your fee, whatever it is, $250 a round, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I'm not paying it because I'm not good enough to play it. But that's a public course. So is it made to be tough on all golfers? I don't know. But somebody made a very tough public course, and it was fun. But it's different than so many. It didn't have the beauty of so many courses. Of course, you saw the ocean, but so many golf courses have so many trees and beauty in foliage. Out there, man, it's just a wide open place. It was a wide open place.
Well, and there's the thing too, like in Augusta having the island. That's more psychological.
Yeah.
To not hit it, to hit in the island and not on the in the water. Whereas here with the sand, all the sand traps, I just feel like it's poorly designed.
Yeah, well, we looked up the guy who, one of our friends we were having breakfast with the other day, looked up who designed it. Was it Bell?
Yes,
Somebody
Bell.
named Bell, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, and I didn't, Ray Bell or something like that. I didn't know who designed it, but it was confusing to me that it was a very tough course. But again, congratulations to Mr. John Rahm. Enjoy your money and keep being a great player. He's always around. This show has gone quickly today. There was a lot of fun things to talk about and a lot of activity. And what do you want to close with today? Anything else you want to address? I know the WNBA is in full swing, and Chicago started winning because Candace Parker is back from injury. I don't think they've lost since she came back. They had lost 5 or 6 in a row, and then she came back and they haven't lost. I mean, what a difference a player makes. What a superstar.
Hey, Miss
Candace
Parker.
Superstar. Anyways, WNBA is in full swing. Our Aces are playing very well. Las Vegas Aces are definitely a contender. What else you want to talk about?
I guess just our next big sporting event right now coming up is Olympics. Are you going to be watching all of that, or is this too much for you?
The answer to that is I've been watching the Olympic trials every night. Yes, I'll be watching. I'm not a swimming fan. I got to tell you, they're fantastic athletes, but it bores me to watch that track and field and those guys run the 109.90,
So fast.
9.89. To watch those women run those hurdles. I love track and field, and yes, I will be watching. Olympics are coming up. Again, our friend is leaving town on vacation with his family out to East Coast New York. We want to wish you well. Have a great trip. Jack's going to be talking to us via Zoom in the next few weeks, and we're going to miss you. We're going to miss you here in the studio. Thank you for watching. Continue to watch us. Like our shows. Watch them on YouTube, Roku, all those areas. WWDBTV, Apple TV. Continue to watch us. Like us. Thanks for tuning in. Have a safe trip.
Thank you,
We'll
sir.
miss you. God bless. Thanks for tuning in today. Talk to you soon.